Oh, to be a work at home mom, am I right? We have limited time to work on the business, but then, we have kids to watch after. And then by the time we're done with that, which we're never done with that, and then we sit down to work, we're like, oh, what is it that I need to do? And like honestly, I don't know about you, but I have a very difficult time being productive. I'm on always going back to the space of how can I be more productive with my time because I'm not productive and I'm really well aware of it. But because I am, I have like the scientist brain and I'm always trying things out and I'm always exploring, I feel that because I'm also very self-aware. I know that I'm not productive. I work really hard on being productive. So I'm not naturally somebody who knows what to do and I'm productive and I'm like this, Pinterest board budding person. I am not that person. I have to work really hard on getting things done, on being productive and making sure that we're making money around here in this business. You know what I'm saying? But, through coming up with these processes, right, that I always have to come up with because I'm not naturally somebody who's productive. I have come up with the things that I do to help me like stay productive again and again because as you'll soon hear, this is really something that you have to come back to again and again if you're not somebody who has like a productive bone in your body. Like if that's you, like you're gonna love this episode. But my love, before we start, did you know that I created the SEO crash course for you? Because listen, as I mentioned, time is limited and ain't nobody got time to sit here and waste, time like not knowing where your keywords are because I know we're working hard on creating really amazing content. But if nobody's seen the content, then like, oh, that's not good, So I created the SEO crash course for you to go ahead and really discover how to do keyword research, where to put those keywords, what kind of keywords are we looking for. And it's all laid out in this like really super concise crash course that honestly, God gave me this idea to do this course for you. And I'm super excited that I did because it's so good, so good. So I'll leave the information linked for you in the show notes down below. But for now, let's talk about how to be productive as a worker home mom. So, like I said before, I am not naturally productive. I am not this naturally organized person. Like there are those people out there. I am not one of them. I always have to like go back to the space of how can I be more productive, So I think one of the good things about me is my flexibility because I'm always trying things out. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get frustrated when I find something that works and if for whatever reason I get out of that routine and then I have to like figure out how to get back into a routine or maybe our family dynamics change and maybe the kids have started to do like a new class or something and I have to take them to that and has just our schedules have shifted. So that flexibility is going to be key, especially if you're not somebody who knows how to be productive naturally. So I have to constantly come back to the space of, okay, in this season of life, how can I make my life better? How can I automate some parts of my life so that I can focus on this area of my life? So I'm always back in the space and I welcome you. I invite you to do the same thing so that you don't try one thing. And then when that one thing doesn't work, you just give up and you're like, wow, it's always going to be a crap show because it doesn't have to be like that. So, put on your scientist like hat and always ask yourself, okay, if this were easy, what would it look like? Right? Like obviously the easiest thing is if you had childcare all day long and you had a cook and you had a housekeeper and all those things. So like obviously like let's not even go there for a second. Let's be like right now, like let's be proactive about the things that you can actually do that are within your control right now so that you can get to the next stage of actually doing things. Now, like I said, I'm not naturally somebody who's productive. So I honestly have to force myself to be organized and stay focused. Like, for example, right before hitting record on this episode, I was like walking around, looking up at the sky because I'm like, oh, what should I do? Like, I don't know. I'm not in the mood. And I have to like force myself to do the things. Okay. Just so don't feel like there's something wrong with you. Like this just is what it is sometimes. So I was dilly-dallying around the office for a hot minute, and I'm like, nope, we're gonna do this thing. And then I sat down to record, and then I had my podcast app open on my desktop, and I was like, oh, let me take a look at some keywords. And I'm like, no, this is not the time to look at keywords. Now is the time to record this episode. So, I'm actually gonna go ahead and put keywords. See, it's already on my list. I have a list of things that I need to do. And yeah, go ahead and like put those things that are distracting you, put them down on the list so that you can come back and focus to the thing that you actually needs your attention right now. So what that looked like for me specifically this morning was taking a minute to get organized, to get centered, to take a look at the things that need to be done in my business. So I don't, I have a done for you service, right? So I offer coaching, and I also own a podcast management agency. So to me, what that looked like was like making sure that clients are scheduled for the week, that all episodes are going out, that every client has what they need to have for their episodes going live this week. So that to me was like the most important thing. So that was the number one thing that I wanted to make sure got done this morning. At the time of this recording, it is a Monday. So I'm looking ahead of the week, making sure that as far as my clients are concerned, that all of their stuff is organized and ready to go for the week. And then aside from that, like I said, I wrote down a list of things of things that I want to accomplish this week, things that are super important that have to get done, but they don't have to get done like all right now. Like for me, my focus right now is making sure that my content is done for the week. I am doing this insane thing this month that I'm like super scared to talk about it, but I am gonna do one episode a day for March, except for Saturday and Sunday because that's Shabbat. So I don't do anything on Saturday and Sunday, but from March 1st until March 31st, I will be doing an episode a day, excluding weekends, like I said. So I have to get like super well organized and prepared because, I don't know why I do these things to myself. They sound really good on paper and I get super excited and I sit down, I'm like, oh, what was I thinking? But hey, listen, now it's live. We're talking about it on this podcast, so we're doing it. So again, writing everything down and getting organized and getting recentered and looking at, okay, this is the thing that I need to do right now and get super organized. Another thing I did today was I literally prayed. I am becoming more and more disciplined in praying and asking God and understanding that I don't have to do this alone. No, I honestly don't have to do it alone. So I just pray and I ask God. I prayed and I asked him to help me be productive, to help me get more done, to help me stay focused and organized, and for me to like put a lot of love into things that I'm doing because I don't want to just do it for the sake of just doing it. I want the love to come through in everything that I do. So I prayed. So don't be afraid to pray and ask God to come in and help you to get this thing done, And then another thing that I have been talking about, but I haven't necessarily mentioned, is going back to basics and write everything down. Like for me, it's pen and paper. Listen, I'm a grandma millennial and I have to write stuff down. I just love that. But I do kind of work in tandem with a Google Doc situation that I have here. I have all my episodes for forever, like in this one Google Doc. I'm always referring back to this Google Doc. So I work in tandem. So whenever I have an idea for an episode or something that I want to really talk about on my podcast, I go on this Google Doc and I put in my episode idea. But again, and again, this doesn't come to me naturally. I have to force myself to write everything down because let me tell you, I have really good memory. I really do. I remember things like a boss. But that's not always true because I'm human and I forget things. So like the other night I had a really good idea for something and I'm like, oh, this is such a good idea. And I went to sleep and the next morning I woke up and I'm like, I had a really good idea and I have no idea what that idea was. And it's frustrating. So write everything down. Shoot yourself a text message. I do that all the time too. The problem that I have with like shooting myself a text message is like, eventually all my text messages get lost. So find a way to stay organized within like how you communicate with yourself. But yeah, like listen, don't beat yourself up if you're not somebody who is productive. Like it is work and you just have to, maybe our past, like our upbringing, like didn't like really set us up for that. But no matter what the case is, it's really important that you understand that there's nothing wrong with you. You just, need a little bit more tools and a little bit more thought and like really staying organized and ahead of time, right? Because being productive is different than being organized, so it all kind of goes together. And by the way, I love organization. I am not a naturally organized person. So I have to force myself to stay organized. I have to force myself to stay focused. I have to force myself to be productive. So I'm just putting this out there so that that if this is not you right now, there's nothing wrong with you. And I keep saying that because I know, like in the past, I would get so frustrated at myself if I wouldn't be productive or organized or focused. But like now I know, like, to love myself a little bit more and to lean on God and ask Him for help to help me with my shortcomings, which are many. Anyway, my love, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget that I have that free resource for you, my free SEO crash course. It is linked for you down below. Go get your hands on it because I don't want you to waste time looking for keywords or creating content that are not targeted at your people. And like, last thing I want is for you to have this amazing business that nobody knows about. Okay, so SEO, it's what's going to get you out there. It's going to get you seen. And until next time, may you find God's love, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.